Yeah. So maybe just start with your name, where you're living now.
Where would you like to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wherever you'd like to. We start with you.
My name's Paul Moody, and I'm currently living in Taylorsville, Utah. I was in the first one, first production. I was in Taming of the Shrew. I was Grumio, who was Petruchio's sidekick, his servant. I was in Merchant of Venice, and I played Benvolio. And then I also was in Hamlet and just played a guard. I think I have the name, but I can't remember the name. But those were my roles.
I'm Julie Jensen, Julianne Ferrer is my maiden name, and I live in Salt Lake City now. I'm a playwright, and I went on in theater, got a PhD. And in the festival, I was, the first year I was Gertrude in Hamlet, and made 10,000 Elizabethan ruffs.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot.
Oh.
10,000, I mean,
oh, yeah.
You know.
They still have them down there, they sell them. Yeah. A lot of money.
Forever.
And then over the course of the next 2 years, I played things I never should have played. Lady Macbeth, Cleopatra, Amelia in Othello, Audrey in As You Like It, the nurse in Romeo and Juliet.
The nurse in Romeo and Juliet. I didn't even know there was a nurse in Romeo and Juliet.
It's the best role in the play.
Okay.
The only one.
I didn't think that was existed in Shakespeare.
It's a big comic role.
Oh, it's a comic role. Okay.
All right. I'm Nyla Ibsen, and I'm living now in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. I've been there for 38 years after leaving and working at BYU. And I was recruited up there and then stayed.
BYU's my alma mater.
Pardon?
It's my alma mater. I have bias for BYU, so that's good.
And I didn't ever have a role, a speaking role, I should say, in the plays, but I came to the festival mostly through my friendship with Catherine and Annette Seaman and Judy Ashcroft. We had all roomed together and on campus. Well, Judy didn't, she lived at home, but we're on campus and just kind of got enthused about joining the drama club, and so when they did Taming of the Shrew during that winter quarter, we were all involved with that, and that was really sort of the beginning. That was in 1961, and then it was that next summer that the festival actually got started. And Fred kept trying to get us all to stay for the summer school and do that, and everybody kept saying, oh, no, I don't know, this is where my memory is anyway. So the carrot that he dangled in front of us is if we would stay to the festival, that he would take us on a trip to Europe after the festival was over. So that was enough to intrigue me to come. So my role was to work behind the scenes. I did a lot of the costuming and the play, painting of the stage and all those types of things. And then, of course, when the plays were on, we were just backstage helping everything and doing the green show. And you'd go over and play a little bit of recorder, and then you go sing, sell oranges and whorehound, and then do a little dance or whatever you had to do. It was just did everything.
Now, did you tell me yesterday that you hated whorehound or you loved it?
I didn't like it in the beginning.
Okay.
No. I've acquired a taste for it, but in the beginning I thought, how am I going to sell this to people? I can't even stand it myself.
It must have been Patty that liked whorehound.
Yeah, she likes it. And now, what they're selling here now is, I think, much milder than what they used to have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then it was terrible.
Stuff was.
I like that.
That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, it really was.
So what did you do?
Oh, okay. My name is Jane Fillmore. That's my maiden name. Kendall Gibson is my married name. I met Norma Benson at the university over at the Drama Club building, now known as the auditorium. And she kept saying, oh, you ought to stay, you ought to stay. And, I'd done a little bit acting, but nothing like you needed for something like this. And so at the end of the summer, the director invited me to stay and help in his office, and so I did that and got involved in the Shakespeare Festival. It was a lot of fun. It was like high cloud time and lots of flags, and you know, who wouldn't be interested if you're a young girl? And I helped in the office, and Barbara Adams was in charge of the green show, and so I helped her do that, gather up music and all that kind of stuff. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And funnest thing that came out of that was it was almost the end of the season, and I left my guitar up on the stairs and didn't hear it crash down the stairs. Anyway, it got broken, so we had to stop the green show. We stopped it because we didn't have a guitar, but it was only a couple of weeks left, so we didn't worry about it too much. But I guess that's the thing I remember most about the festival. I remember being on stage. I was something to Julie, but I can't remember now. It was a nurse or an assistant, or I can't remember what it was. I thought she was Lady Macbeth. Maybe that was it. So I didn't
You were the
remember.
child Macbeth.
Yes.
The young girl child Macbeth.
There you go. All I remember is getting from one place to that place was nerve time, because you can't get out there fast enough and still have your costume on. So, you know, nobody worried too much about who was changing in the same room. Nobody looked at anybody. And you were just trying to get out there before Fred kills you for being late.
That's right.
Yeah. And, you know, that's hard to explain.
Did anyone die from being late, or was actually
Well, no,
killed,
I
or
understand somebody
No, he just
stapled
said
in
that.
a-
okay,
Yeah.
good verbal threats?
Screamed it. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then we would laugh
Yeah.
because it became
So
it just became
regular,
yeah. But you, like I said earlier to the breakfast, that you got the giggles, and
That's
if
true.
you just could not get away from the giggles. And then when Fred would come and do these things, then you just laughed harder, and then that would make him even more. You know, he wanted us to be serious, but he couldn't.
Here's a
He couldn't
story
even
from
pull
my
it off.
sister.
Yeah.
My sister wasn't an actor, but she came for a couple
Yeah.
of years.
What was her name?
Sue.
Yeah.
Sue Farrer. And she was infamous around here.
Yeah.
Fred remembers her name, not because she was important, but because she was such trouble. And so her job, she was in Othello.
Yeah.
And her job was to come up the inner above and say, he's coming, he's coming. And they weren't real real lines or anything. So she would say things like, okay, you guys, come on, he's here. And then you'd have to say, no, Sue, it's got to sound a little Elizabeth. Hey, you guys, I think he's here at Othello. So anyway, she did that. That was her job of doing that. Well, one night there was this woman that they met who was from Scandinavia, I think Sweden. And we met her. She was, you know, that was kind of a big deal that somebody was in town from like a foreign country, and here she was singing the festival. And so Sue gets her aside and says, do you want to be in the play? It'd be really good. So she gets her a costume, goes down the costume, gets her kind of a maid thing. And
You
puts
don't
her
know
in
how
it.
foreign it is to be a first-time actor on the stage during the run of the thing. For her to even suggest such a thing.
Oh. And Mike Addison was directing it, so he was a pretty serious guy. So in the scene where, hey, you guys, here he is, it's Othello. On comes this woman. Mike Addison is sprinting back. Where's Sue? Sue said, I just looked the other way and pretended he wasn't talking to me. She never fessed.
That was
Never
really.
fessed up.
Well, and see, that happened all the time. Somebody was always pulling some smart aleck thing on somebody else. And so you never knew who you were going to get on the stage. You just went on with your part like no time. And things, so for Mike to say who did that, when he knew someone other than Sue did, you know, and we were all scared to death, and it was so funny. It was,
Well, we were trying to be serious. I mean, we were trying to be grown
sure.
up. My sister never was.
No.
She still hasn't grown up.
I think that was the amateur part of us.
Yeah, it
We
was.
just
Yeah.